So I'm sure this is asinine. I'm sure this doesn't matter, because people are going to follow whatever the heck they want to follow. And I got a small channel and people aren't going to be listening to me that much. But yeah, sometimes I just shake my head at this Myron guy. Because he's got such a big following and he's just giving this shitty advice. So let's listen, and then I'm just going to kind of break it down why it's bad advice.
Rather be with a woman who treats you like shit but has only been with 1 or 2 men in her life, or would you rather be with someone who has been with 1,000 men but treats you fantastic, respects you, doesn't cheat on you?
See, here's the thing. I would take the girl that's 1 or 2 bodies, and I'll tell you why. As a man, your job is to turn your woman into basically your follower. She's your assistant.
The real reason why it's better to go with a woman who's only got a low body. First of all, it's a stupid question, right? Because it's like, you got more choices than that. Men have more choices than that. But if you're going to choose a woman if the only choice is between a woman who's got 1 or 2 bodies, but she treats you like crap, and a woman who's got a bunch of bodies, but she treats you great. I mean, it's such a shitty thing to ask, because it's actually, I would say it's better to go with the one who has more bodies, because at least she's treating you correct. But the problem with the one that has more bodies is she's going to be she's going to have all this baggage. But the problem with a woman who's got a low body count but she treats you like crap is she's got a privileged attitude. Either way, you're screwed, right? Probably. And I would say probability wise, statistically, I don't know statistically, but probability wise, the one who treats you better, you're probably going to have a better time with, because at least she's treating you better from the get-go. If you know women, you've been around women, usually they're not going to change for you, okay? Usually. But Myron has this kind of egotistical way of looking at relationships where he thinks women are subordinate. Now, I don't know if this is because the dude's a Muslim or he's got this chauvinistic racial background. I really don't know, because I know a lot of Muslims, they have a lot of chauvinistic views on women, which you could call me a liberal, you could call me a simp or whatever. It doesn't excite me to put women down. In fact, I think it's stupid, because why wouldn't you build your woman up? Why wouldn't you want your woman to be to have high self-esteem? Why would you want to beat her down, make her your follower, make her subjective to you, submissive to you? It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, that's your team member and you're putting her below you. No, you want everybody on your team to be as strong as possible. You want your woman to be as strong as possible, to have has high self-esteem as possible, because that's going to make your ship run better. If you put her down and you try to mold her to your little whims, I feel like you're a tyrant. That's weird to me. I don't like that. I don't like people putting other people down and saying, I'm better than you. Call me a liberal. I hate liberals. I can't stand liberals. But call me a simp, call me a liberal, whatever. But I'm egalitarian. That's how I look at it. It's not that I'm an SJW warrior. It's just that call me crazy, but I like it when people have high self-esteem about themselves and they don't feel like they need to be subordinate to anybody else. Call me crazy. I don't know. You know, it's funny because, like, I sit here all day and I say, and I'll argue with feminists and I'll say there's no such thing as the patriarchy, da da da. And then you got guys like Myron who are actually trying to make it a patriarchy. Like, they're trying to subjugate women, and I'm just like, dude, you're going in the wrong direction. The real thing that needs to happen is women need to be educated. We need to install and implement better social stigma around not being a hoe, around treating not treating men like crap, because that's what feminism does, and then around having morals, and that starts in the home. You gotta get the parents, you gotta get to the people who are raising these women, and then you gotta deal to whatever degree with society, okay, that says it's okay to go be a hoe. Like, feminism is the enemy. We have to figure out a way to get women away from the feminist ideology, because it's insidious, it's demonic, it's satanic. Obviously, that starts in the home, I believe, and then it also is reinforced with social stigma. We need to implement a culture that actually cares about these things, and you're going in the wrong direction when you're just trying to subjugate a woman. Now, you could argue that it's very practical. You could argue and say, well, it's not going to happen, Jay, that's not going to happen the way you're saying it. Maybe not right away, you know. So you're maybe doing a quick little thing where you're, you know, well, you got to just get your woman and da, da, da. That's not going to work for every man. First of all, you got to have a lot of money to do that, probably, because a lot of times women are not going to bow the knee to you if you're not really wealthy, or you're not, you know, a lot more powerful than she is in status or whatever. And that's a shitty thing to chase. And I made a lot of videos about that in the past, about how you're trying to change a woman, or how you're trying to get a woman to chase you. That's a faulty game that you're playing, because not everybody can do that. It's and again, why would you want to do that? I've made this case in the past. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to constantly being constantly in my opinion, it's outdated thinking. It's the red pill used to really talk about this a lot. Oh, you got to get your woman to chase you. It's all about frame control. You got to have the higher frame than her, and she's got to be, you know, she's got to feel like she's under you and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't want to play those games, dude. Life is too short. It's hard enough already, and now I got to be out here trying to be all stoic and like I'm this proud king, and she's got to fall under me and all this BS. And you're just pretending. You're just pretending, dude. You're just pretending. You're not really that. That's not who you really are. Be who you really are. If a woman loves you for who you really are, then you got a good one, dude. You got a good one. It's that simple. If you're out here jumping through hoops and performing and because of what you're doing, if you're jumping through a hoop in the sense that you gotta wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm an alpha male, and pretend like you're this strong dude and have all this frame control, when that's not really who you are. And you don't want that anyways. That's outdated. I hate those kind of guys. They're not cool. They're not down to earth. They're not normal. They're in this weird headspace where they got to walk around thinking that they're superior to everybody. Like, I'm an alpha male. It's like, you're not. You're pretending. You're pretending. You're LARPing. You're live action role playing as something that you're not. I don't care if you got the big muscles and you grew your beard out and you look alpha. I don't care how alpha you look. You put on that type of personality and it's fake. It's just fake. It's not who you really are, because people aren't really like that. Men aren't really like that. We're just human beings, dude. We're just human beings. Also, you're guys who do that, they're playing into that where men are like in competition with other men. Like, you're in competition with everybody when you do that. Well, I'm the alpha male and I got to come in and it's all about frame control and da 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 da. And really all you're doing is you're being in competition with everybody. So not only are you in competition with men, you're in competition with women to show them that you're superior to them. That's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work. What do you want to do that for? Because you just so you can get some woman to follow you, and then what if one day it's like, hey man, take a break. You're gonna have a heart attack at 50 if you do shit like that. You're just adding all this stress onto yourself. Wouldn't it be easier to find somebody who really just loves you for who you are? And maybe you can find someone who's got a low body count. Maybe you can find someone who's not that damaged and warped. Maybe that she's out there. Maybe. You never know. Maybe she's tucked away in some corner of the country somewhere, or she just got overlooked by a lot, and maybe she's not a 10 out of 10, maybe she's a 6 out of 10, but she's pretty and she doesn't really know that she's pretty, but you saw her at a bookstore or something and she's kind of just a little shy. Dude, go watch Rocky. Have you ever seen the first Rocky? Go watch Rocky. Look at Adrian. She's a perfect example of that type of girl. She's just this unassuming, really shy, sweet girl, although the only problem with that is he slept with her on the first night, I think, which is stupid. You don't want to sleep with the woman on the first night. You don't want to sleep with the woman on the first night. And I'm pretty sure I've given that advice before, but not in the sense that you should do it, but more in the sense that women will do that. If a woman will sleep with you on the first night, that's a huge red flag, by the way. But anyway, Rocky, go watch Rocky. Adrian, she's a really sweet, shy girl, and she's the perfect girl, because you don't want this brash party girl, this little hoe club girl. Get away from that, you know, obviously. But you don't want these trendy girls either. You don't want, there's a lot to look out for. If a girl's all confident and she's you know, powerful, like these new age girls, you know, you go girl, I'm a boss girl, like stay away from those girls. From those women. Get you a shy woman. Get you Go find you a shot if you can. Look around, like vet. You gotta vet, man. A lot of guys out here are like take whatever they can get because they're in scarcity mode. You gotta vet. So if it's between low body count and high body count, if they treat you better, I would go with whoever treats you better, because the low body count girl could still cheat on you, and if she disrespects you from the get, if she disrespects you from the jump, then there's going to be a power dynamic struggle the whole time. You're going to be having to fight with her. And I don't know what it is with these dudes, these Muslim guys, like, and I'm not trying to diss anybody or single anybody out, like, respect to everybody, love to everybody, but at the same time, like, I see this a lot. There's this weird power dynamic fight because these guys think, see, here's the thing that guys don't understand. Women are smarter than you think they are. They can tell when you want to sleep with them. They can tell when you're trying to run game on them. They can tell when you're trying to exert a power dynamic over them. They can tell, and they'll try to jujitsu that shit, and they'll try to turn it around because they're competitive. So why would you want to go at it from that angle at the very beginning, especially if she's already disrespecting you and treating you bad? So now you're going to try to win her over just because she's got a low body count? It's stupid. It's like, I mean, ultimately both of those scenarios are poisoned. Ultimately both of those scenarios are shitty. So it's just this shitty question to ask, because it's like you don't even have to play those games. I would say avoid both of those women for sure. Avoid both of those women like the plague. Find a woman who's, I'm not saying she's never had a boyfriend. I'm not saying she's got to be a virgin, but you could find a girl probably who has a low body count, like under 5, maybe. It sounds crazy, but you might be able to do it. You never know, okay? In today's day and age, it sounds wild, you know, and I've definitely been a pessimist on this in the past. I've for sure been a cynic on this, you know, the whole unicorn idea. It's not that she needs to be perfect. It's not that you're going to find the perfect unicorn. She's going to have flaws. She's going to have maybe some hang-ups or something, some low self-esteem or something. Here's the thing, man, you're gonna deal with something regardless of whatever it is. You're gonna deal with something. You're gonna deal with either some baggage or some personality problems, maybe a little mental health issues, maybe some emotional self-esteem problems. You're gonna deal with that with anybody. You're gonna take a hit no matter where you are. Or you might take a physical hit. She might not be that hot. She might be a great girl where she's got a great head on her shoulders, she's moral, she's got a low body count, but she's just not super hot. Maybe she's a 5 out of 10, or maybe she doesn't have large breasts or a big booty, because guess what happens when a woman has large breasts or a big booty? She's going to be sought after. She's going to be a target for every guy out there, which means that she's going to succumb to sex. She's going to succumb. She's probably going to have a high body count. So you're taking a hit any which way you slice it. If she's going to be hot and have a big breast and a big booty, she's going to have a high body count. She's going to have baggage. She's going to have had her heart broken by a bad boy here and there. She's going to maybe be jaded. She's going to be a heartbreaker herself. She's going to play games. She's going to shit test you all the time. She's going to try to test your alpha and all this crap, and you don't want those problems. You want to help meet. You want a help meet. That's what the Bible says. It says a wife is a help meet to a man. What does that mean? It means she supports him. She helps him get through everyday life. She's beneficial in the sense that she is supportive, and she's got your back, and that's how a woman should love a man. That's how a woman should love a man. If you're out here, I think guys, they're attracted to this type of women who they think is a challenge. Any guy who wants a challenge in a woman is an idiot. You don't want a challenge in a woman. That's not what you want. In fact, really, if anybody should want a challenge, it should be women. Women are the ones who want a challenge in men, because they don't want these milquetoast dudes who are just yes men, right? And good, they shouldn't, because those guys are simps. And anyway, you don't want to be a yes man, but you don't want a challenge in a woman. I don't know why these guys want women who are challenging. Like, no, I don't like the chase. Oh, you want to play games? Well, go play them with somebody else. You're going to support me and love me, or I'm not interested. You're going to have my back from the get-go, and you're going to be a nice, quiet girl who's maybe smart, but she's not loud, and she's not aggressive, and she's not a career woman. She's not trying to be in competition with you or anything like that. She's just she just supports you. She's on your team. She's a team member. That's what you want, dude. That's what you want. You want that girl. And you can find it. It sounds crazy to say, but I think you can find it. The problem is you're probably going to take a hit in the looks department. That's probably what it's going to be, is you're going to take a hit in the looks department. But if she's got a good head on their shoulders, so you got to know what to look for. If she's got a good head on her shoulders, she's decently smart, she's moral, got a low body count, she has the same, I hope she's a Christian, I hope you're a Christian, you know, because that's the best way to go. All these other, even these other religions, whatever, you know, secularism, etc. It's not the way to go, because there's going to be a lot of immorality. There's going to be a lot of, you know, new age culture and beliefs snuck in there. I'm telling you, you meet a girl who's moral, she 9 times out of 10 she's going to be a Christian, because it's just night and day. From my experience, it's night and day. When you're not a Christian, you're just you know, you're just out here floating around in the evil satanic world, man. So I don't like this, man, and it sucks that Myron has such a following, because he's giving men such bad advice, and then he tells men to go sleep around, like you should sleep with at least 35 women, 40 women by the time you're 30 years old, so you know how to deal with women. It's like, you can still learn how to deal with women without sleeping with them. You can be smart and observe and watch red pill content and soak it up and learn how to vet women and learn how to be a good judge of character and learn what to avoid. And plus, in today's day and age, they make it so obvious. They make it, women today are more brash and they're less subtle than ever in history. Where women screw men up, where women will catch you up, is when they're subtle, is when they pretend to be the nice girl, they pretend to be the unassuming girl, and then it turns out that they're, you know, they're low-key really, you know, promiscuous behind your back, or they're cheaters, or they're liars, or worse, they're covert narcissists. That can happen. So that's what you got to look out for if you're going for a shy, quiet, nice girl. But yeah, man, you don't got to play these games. Like, and here's the thing. It's like, you're going to probably suffer, in the sense that you're going to be waiting for a while, probably, you know, and I think it requires prayer, and it requires cooperation with God on things that you maybe need to improve on. Maybe you need to have a better character yourself. Maybe you need to clean your home better. Maybe you need to learn how to be very sanitary. You need to learn how to take care of your body and learn how to eat healthy food, because you're preparing for the rest of your life. That's the truth. When you're young and you're going to find somebody to date or marry, you're preparing for, I should say marry, not date, but even marriage. Like, I couldn't sit here and give men advice on marriage, because it's a lose. I would say don't sign those papers. Even as a Christian, as sad as it is, sad as it is to say, I would advise men not to sign those papers. I would say, don't get married, just be in a relationship, and it is what it is. Now I know you got states out here where if you even move in with a girl, you're liable to pay her, and that's just sad, and it's just the sick way of the world. But again, if you're a young person, you are preparing for your future. You're preparing to live life, a long life. Hopefully, you're in your early 20s, or you're in your 20s. You should be preparing for your 80s. Trust me. You should be preparing for your 60s to 80s, because that's what's going to carry you through. And, you know, you do that by learning how to keep yourself in shape, learning what foods to avoid, learning how to take care of your business, such as licenses and you know, paying for insurance and things like that, because you don't want to be out here driving illegal, or out here, you know, not doing the right things. As far as, you know, you got to be a man. We got to be humans on this earth, and we got to live our, you know, practical lives. And a lot of that is just eating the right foods, because your body is your temple. That's the number one thing, is you got to take care of your body, and then take care of your soul, and take care of your heart. And you do that through, in my opinion, you do that through prayer and really getting close to God, reading the Bible, things like that. That's my opinion. But, you know, being a moral person, not lying, doing the right thing, telling the truth, you know, not screwing people over, not being selfish, not being greedy. And in my opinion, apart from God, it's very difficult to not fall into any of those traps. So that's my advice, man. Anyway, hope y'all got something out of it. But be careful who you follow, man. Be careful who you idolize and who you get advice from. That's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening. Peace.